Hey, I'm Claire.
And I'm Janice.
And this is The X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
We are breakup coaches here to help you beat your breakup,
heal your broken heart,
and move on to an amazing, abundant life. Welcome to another episode of X-Files. This is Janice, one half of the power couple that makes up this podcast, and I'm flying solo today. So I just want to start out by saying that I'm so glad that you're here with me today or this morning or whenever it is that you listen to this. I just want to continue to express so much gratitude to everyone who is listening and to everyone who has tuned in previously. We are almost at exactly the 3-month mark with the show, and both of us are just so overcome with love for everyone who's pushed play on X-Files. Our number one goal has always been to help those who are going through a hard time or, going through a breakup or, struggling to move forward. And it's really a dream come true to know that it's happening only a few months in. So thank you. All right. So what am I going to talk to you about today? I want to chat with you today about using your journal during a breakup and a healing journey. It's something that Claire and I touch on all of the time, probably half the episodes, perhaps. And I also know that there's just this growing interest around journaling these days. I use journal exercises with all of my breakup coaching clients. I use it in my own life, and I've also been journaling most of my life, probably. It was kind of a cultural part of the religion I was raised in, so I've got a lot of experience. I thought it would be a fun topic to get into with you. My last episode was on my journey with codependence, and it was a bit heavy. So I've kind of had a desire to pop in with something kind of more full of glitter, as I like to say. So that's what I'm doing with this episode. Let's get started. First of all, why is journaling effective during a breakup? Why do we keep on bringing it up? Number one, when we go through emotionally charged times, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of anxiety, and just unresolved shit that ends up landing in our brain and sometimes just staying there. So, for instance, have you ever struggled with racing thoughts during a breakup? This is definitely my thing. I will think about the same things over and over and over. And this is an example of this mental landing place that all of this stuff finds itself in. So journaling helps us to take all of these things that are just swirling around in our head and move it through the body by physically writing. So think about your body. All right, a little diagram, if you will. The process of pushing words from the brain and then through the fingers is really incredibly powerful. I have found that sometimes after doing some of these exercises or journaling about a really high stress time, especially if it involves another person, the relief I feel is often just immediate. So yeah, I'm a huge advocate of journaling during a breakup. Another reason that journaling during a breakup is powerful is that it helps us see the reality of the situation. This is really tricky during a breakup. So when I have someone, a client or a listener or a friend or a prospective client, when someone reaches out to me to say that they're confused about why the relationship didn't work out, why the breakup happened, why they can't get over the pain, why they can't get this person out of their mind, why they're only dwelling on certain aspects of the relationship, I will often ask if they've done certain journaling exercises. All right. When we write about certain things, we organize the sequence of events. We're forced to explore how things have really gone down in the relationship. We look at and we explore our own truth, and we accept the facts through this process. So yes, it does take effort, but the payoffs are enormous. And this is where it comes to proactively embracing and committing to your healing journey. This is when you are aggressively tackling it, is when you do things like this. So I've developed journal prompts because I believe so much in this. I've developed journaling prompts and exercises for every single phase of my breakup coaching programs. Regardless of the various programs that people are in, I have journal exercises that are ready to go. So with almost every single struggle that a client comes across in leaving a relationship behind, I can offer a way to process it with pen and paper. And I guess I should also throw in, I'm a pen and paper girl for various reasons. I really love hand lettering for those who follow me on Instagram. But some people like to type it out. Totally cool. I will probably, though, refer to pen and paper for the purposes of this episode. So whenever I do have an exercise, I always present it as an offering for my clients when they are ready. You know, it's nothing like you've got to get this back to me. I always say, like, would you like a suggestion? But when people are ready to take me up on these suggestions, I always see results. My clients always see results. Always. I've never had a person tell me that they didn't get something huge out of the experience of doing these prompts or exercises. So, I love this one. Another reason why journaling is powerful. It allows you to take the power into your own hands and leave your ex out of the equation. This is fundamental on the healing journey. All right. And I really, really, really believe and know that you can do this. All right. So journaling, that's great. It's kind of a trendy, kind of a buzzword right now, maybe. But like, what does it mean? Where to begin, right? As I said, I have a huge, I guess you could almost say arsenal of journal prompts and exercises that I use in my coaching practice. I have chosen 3 exercises that are particularly effective in the early days of a breakup that I'm going to share here. All right, so grab the journal and a pen and let's take some notes and dive into this. All right, number 1 journal prompt. This is called What Wasn't Working. All right, this is a great prompt to use with your journal if you are struggling to let go of your ex, accept the turn of events, possibly to stop blaming yourself, or even if you are just really in the midst of the breakup and missing the person and not believing that you'll love again or that you'll have a better relationship in the future. So any stuck energy, I would say start with this prompt. And look, I really want to stress this. It may seem like I'm putting focus on the quote negative here. And yeah, I guess in a way I am, because I really, really, really believe in doing this exercise because it's an important step in reclaiming your power and fully embracing that relationships end because they're not working. So if you can really embrace that idea, the way that you'll be able to move forward, this is going to be a game changer. So how do you do this? Start the journal entry with what I didn't like about this relationship, or what I didn't like about being with X was, and then start writing. Just let it all out. Go to town. All right? No one's going to see this but you. I want you just laying into it, cursing, putting pressure on the page if that's what you feel to do. All right? So you list everything that your ex did that hurt you. All right? The annoying things this person did. I've had a couple different people tell me that it stuck out to them that I've mentioned a couple times that when I did this exercise after my last relationship, I really focused on the fact that my ex didn't do his laundry or he rewore things. And, it might seem small, but it bugged me and it went on the list. And yeah, so list every time you fought. I would love people to be specific about fights and conflicts here. List the little and the small things that you wanted out of your partner or that you wanted out of this relationship that just never materialized, that your ex didn't deliver. All right. The times that maybe this person let you down, places maybe where you felt you were treated unfairly, things you did for this person that you felt weren't appreciated. All right. Be very specific. Don't be general. So don't say my ex didn't appreciate me. Say, this just came into my mind, but say, I always got my ex's parents flowers for Christmas. He never recognized me for that. He never thanked me for that. He took it for granted that I did that. All right. So get specific. And remember, this isn't me encouraging you to adopt the victim mindset. In fact, it's the exact opposite. This is a valuable, powerful exercise to help you step into your power, get your true feelings out of your mind, out of your body, and see that what has happened is really for the best. So, in doing this exercise, I think that it's really great if you can sit down in kind of an initial quote setting or sitting and get the ball rolling. And then continue to come back to this list maybe over the next week or 2 or 3. Because once you sit down and you start getting all of this out, a lot more is going to be coming to mind. All right. And you need to record that shit. So keeping the list going helps you to stay strong in the upcoming months of healing. It's really easy to kind of go back and forth about whether or not you've done the right thing or that this is, that the breakup is what's best for you. And keeping this list going is one of the most effective things that you can do to just stay on the path forward. All right. So when I did this in the initial days after my divorce or when I was separating from my husband, I kept a notebook with me and I jotted things down. It was so long, pages and pages and pages, and I cannot tell you how much it helped. All right, let's take a quick break and then I'll be back with the rest of my prompts. All right, let's get back into it. Journal prompt number 2. This is one I call a letter to your ex. So if you've ever listened to this podcast before, you know that Claire and I are huge believers in the fact that closure happens internally and not with our ex. If there's things left unsaid or things that you don't understand about the breakup, no conversation with this person is going to give you closure. You give it to yourself. But what happens when there are things that you still want to say to this person? This is what this journal prompt is all about. How would you truly love to tell your ex about the way that you see that things went down, right? How would it feel to unburden yourself fully and release the nagging thoughts that are racing through your head, right? In the heat of the moment, there's often things that we don't get to say to the person and maybe that we shouldn't say. So how do you release that? How do you release the regret of not saying all of that? Well, letter writing is here to help. All right, grab your journal and start with Dear your ex or your new pseudonym. which is another thing I'll talk about. I think that it can be very effective to give your ex a pseudonym in the early days of a breakup, because it allows a bit of disconnect. But I digress. So, dear my ex, here is what I really want you to know about our breakup. All right? And then dive in really deep here. I think that this is a journal prompt that's really good to do when you don't have anything coming up, when you can kind of light some candles, have a glass of wine, and just give the space to talking to this person through your journal. All right? Don't hold anything back. Like I said, this is not for the other person to see. This is for you to get all of this out to the universe, right? Number 3, what I want for myself is, oh, I love this one. It's so powerful and juicy and important during a breakup. This prompt is about looking to your new future and just rolling around and getting nice and juicy and dirty, and how wonderful your new future is going to be. All right. And again, find a quiet time when you will not be interrupted, probably for at least a half hour, I'd say, for this one. And this one especially, I think you should light a candle, maybe put on some music. Close your eyes for a few minutes before you begin. Think about your future. Do a little meditation here, all right? Just kind of sink into it. You don't have to hurry, all right? This is all about you. So after a few minutes of thinking about your future, start your journal entry with, when I see myself 2 years from now, I see. And then start writing. What does your future look like for you? If you went really deep and could imagine your future self as happy as it would be, or as you would be, what would you be doing 2 years from now? Where would you be living? What does your apartment or house look like? What do your mornings look like? Really, that's what I always think of when I'm doing these visualizations, is waking up and then like what my morning is like, and what do my surroundings look like, and what am I doing? That works for me personally. What do you have a partner? What does the relationship look like? Perhaps what does the person look like? Do they live with you? How does this person treat you? What do you have in common? What do you spend your time doing? What does your job look like? How do you spend your free time? Just all of it. If you do find yourself really going down the path of the relationship, I think that's really great. But also I want to say that you could allow yourself to do a separate entry just on the relationship. Okay? So just something to keep in mind. I have done this particular prompt a lot in my life, and I have really found that the things that I've focused on have come to me. And I know that they can come to you as well. I'm positive. And I hope that all of these prompts were helpful for you. If they are, I would really love for you to let me know. Really, really. I love to hear from people about how they apply what we talk about on this podcast to their life. If you struggle with them, I'd like to know that as well. I'm always tweaking, I'm always developing my coaching programs and how I present things and what I present. So yeah, just let me know your experience with these. And I'm very interested in just simply getting to know the people who listen to the show. And I want to know how I and we can better serve you. So let me know what you think. My DMs are always, always, always open to X-Files listeners. And Claire and I are building an online community on Facebook. We're really excited about this. You can find us on Facebook at Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On. We're going to be in there all of the time. And in fact, we're doing a live Q&A on Monday, May 4th. So please head over there if you want more cheerleading for your healing journey. You might find an accountability partner over there. You might find us popping in with other, words of wisdom. So we'd really love to have you. And I really believe in the power of being self-reliant. A breakup is a really wonderful time to look at how self-reliant you are and maybe where you can embrace more self-sufficiency and reliance and independence and freedom. Journaling is a great way to do that. All right, so give it a shot. I'm guessing you'll be glad that you did. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time, beauties.
That episode was so good that we have decided to turn it into a PDF. So if you would like the journal prompts that Janice just shared to be easily accessible to you, written down with instructions, it will be in our Facebook group. So come on over. We're going to have it permanently live in there. So if you'd like this all written down, just in case you didn't take notes during this podcast, don't worry, you're not the only one. It's in the Facebook group, Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On. So we'll see you in there, or we'll see you next time we talk over the podcast channels. Bye. Thanks for listening to X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
If you like this episode, tag us on your Instagram story so we can connect with you.
And you can find me, Claire, on Instagram at Claire Lofthouse.
And me, Janice, on Instagram at Janice Formicella. If you'd like to join our online community, find us on Facebook at Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On.
And here's a preview of our next episode. Regardless, this will trigger your ego to see an ex moving on, no matter how over them you felt beforehand. So just know that that is normal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're in an exclusive relationship, you want to think, like, I'm the special one to this person.
Yeah.
And so, it can be a huge blow to your pride to realize that there was someone else. And I do totally get that. If you're feeling this way, say ego talking.
That's my ego, not necessarily that I'm missing out on such a great thing, or necessarily that this new relationship is satisfying all the things that they wanted.
Yeah.
You don't know how happy they are.
Or how happy the person who's with them is.